Do you ever look around at your competition and realize you look and sound the same? Do you and your customers struggle to tell you apart? Do you find yourself doing the same thing, the same way you've always have, with the same dull results? And have you convinced yourself that copying the people you think are successful is a winning strategy? Well, it's not. You need to be less sheep. Welcome aboard, folks, to the Annoyingly Optimistic Show, the go-to destination for the savviest entrepreneurs and business owners who crave a heady concoction of knowledge, inspiration, and a sprinkling of humour. I'm your host, Paul Inskip, here to accompany you on this exhilarating journey through the world of business. Together, we'll venture into the fascinating realm of ideas, unravel the mysteries of success, and equip you with hands-on strategies to worry less, make more, and be brilliant. I'd love to hear from you, so please reach out, comment, or message me to share how you've been helped, inspired, or simply got a fresh outlook. Let's embark on this annoyingly optimistic adventure together. And remember, worry less, make more, and be brilliant. At various stages of my business, I've caught myself emulating the classic sheep following the shepherd dog. Now, not literally, of course, that'd be unbelievable. Still, in the bustling marketplace, I felt just like that, herded, nudged, and nudged some more. Now, I found myself in a masterclass. 14 businesses in the room, all heavyweights in the game, while I was more of a featherweight, and I was there in full-on sponge mode. Now, don't worry, I'll dish the details on Be More Sponge in another episode. My humble takeaway from this masterclass, a stack of notes that would rival the Eiffel Tower in height, and 14 product guides, each one a Bible of wisdom and pricing. Oh, how I beamed with joy on my 4-hour journey home, feeling like the Cheshire Cat that didn't just get the cream, but the entire dairy. My car was a treasure chest on wheels, filled with golden nuggets of knowledge. Surely, this was my golden ticket, my entrance into the business Willy Wonka's chocolate factory. With over 120 years of collective wisdom in my grasp, I was all set to stitch together a Frankenstein of success that would rock the business world. Or so I thought. I'd poured every ounce of my energy into blending this treasure trove of wisdom, fully expecting to birth the Mona Lisa of product guides. But alas, what I ended up with was more of a Magnolia boringness. An offering as memorable as last Tuesday's weather forecast. I'd put all my eggs in this imitation basket, confident that my copycat strategy was the recipe for success. But boy, was I wrong. See, in my pursuit for success, I'd whipped up a concoction for my website and branding that could easily win the award for the most unimpressive humdrum business in the digital universe. Oh, the irony of it all. In my quest to learn from these people and use their knowledge and blend in and metamorphosize into a proper business, I almost bulldozed all my hard work into oblivion. Imagine looking at your business and seeing the reflection of other successful ventures, an eerie echo of their influence in every corner of your operation, and yet the mosaic of their successes had somehow transformed into a puzzlingly lackluster tableau. It was as if I'd done a reverse King Midas, turning gold into stone. I'd herded my business into the wilderness of boring, becoming just another indistinguishable sheep in the grand business pasture. This bitter pill was one of the most monumental lessons of my journey. Now, nowadays, I devote a not insignificant amount of time talking about branding. Not because I'm overly fond of sheep metaphors, although they do seem to flock in my narrative, but because I wouldn't wish this painful odyssey on my worst enemy, let alone a fellow entrepreneur. Now, wrestling with misfires, which is a much kinder word than failures, is like salsa dancing with a cactus. But when you're doing this painful dance, we have choices. We can either sink like a stone or swim like Phelps, toss in the towel or keep slugging it out. Now, I put on my Sherlock Holmes cap and dove into the analysis mode, sifting through my labyrinth of notes. I revisited the mastermind session, seeking the elusive clue that I had missed, the piece of the puzzle where I'd veered off track. Like a dog with a bone, I went through every scrap of information I'd scavenged, websites, social media, you name it. Now brace yourself for the facepalm moment. After several days of intense introspection, the epiphany stuck like a well-aimed cream pie. Each of the 14 businesses I'd so diligently dissected and found success, not through cookie-cutter approach, but through their unique flavors. They were like 14 unique spices, each lending a distinctive note to the entrepreneurial stew, united not by their sameness, but by their shared journey to success and generosity in sharing their wisdom. Are you seeing what took me embarrassingly long to notice? In my frantic quest to wrangle these business black sheep into a seamless white flock, I turned a blind eye to their distinguishing features. So, how do we shed these woolly coats and stop playing the role of a sheep? And why should we even want to? Being a sheep saves you from becoming dinner, doesn't it? Well, that's a pro-survival strategy. It's a brilliant tactic if you're on the menu for a hungry predator. But let's be real, unless your business involves selling prime cuts of lamb, that's probably not the case. Now, if we were to play Farmville with our business, we'd be the shepherd. Our marketing would be the trusty sheepdog. Our business, the protective pen. And our competitors, well, they're the wolves. The dog's role is to guide the sheep into the pen, steering them away for those ravenous wolves. But if we see our business as the sheep, then we're one wolf snarl away from the jaws of business failure. So how do we avoid such a woolly fate? How do we shake off these sheepish tendencies? Well, we need to embrace uniqueness. We need to be true to ourselves. We need to stand out, and we need to attract more attention and be different. If your business is the sheep in a flock of 100 identical woolly clones, how on earth will your customer pick you out? By 1 potato, 2 potato, 3 potato, 4? Are you banking on your wool being a tad more appealing than the other 99 sheep? See, following the flock, trying to blend in, and worse, trying to be something you're not, will make your business as conspicuous as a ninja at midnight. An invisible business then has to huff and puff 1,000 times harder to be seen, to be understood, and be chosen. Talk about a back-breaking uphill battle. Now, no one listening to this started your business with the sole ambition of being a mirror image of somebody else. In our daily lives, we might prefer to blend in with the crowd, but our business personality needs to do the exact opposite. And here lies the root of the problem. We create a personal brand, a business reflecting ourselves, but build it like a chameleon, always ready to blend in. Now, to add salt to the wound, we sprinkle a dash of imposter syndrome, conveniently ignoring our own skills, individuality, and expertise. We're often left floundering, unsure of how we measure up against our seemingly infallible competitors. Naturally, we want success and tend to think others are more deserving of it than ourselves. This leads us to the erroneous conclusion: if I morph into a carbon copy of my successful competitors, success will follow me. It's quite likely you see a reflection of your own journey in this. But seeing these decision-making processes from an external perspective should highlight their flawed nature. These decisions not only risk sabotaging everything, but are also often influenced by our own self-perception. So if we're naturally inclined towards becoming the inconspicuous sheep, how exactly do we stand out from the flock? How do we be less sheep? Okay, so the sheep shedding journey begins with a simple question. Why did you start? You set out to create, do, be, make something that would change a life, brighten a day, or solve a problem, right? And you wanted your unique version of that thing to be the one that people chose and that people wanted to have. Now, you didn't do that because you wanted to blend into the bleating masses, but because you longed to be a standout, a one of a kind. You're the only you out there. And hey, that happens to be what you're best at. It's far more rewarding and less perspiration-inducing to be the top-drawer version of yourself rather than a diluted doppelganger of someone else. Sure, there's safety in numbers for sheep, but your safety lies in acquiring more customers. And that, my friend, comes from standing out and pulling them in. Don't mistake me, this is not a walk in the park. Discovering your best self, your raison d'etre, your special sauce, It's a tough expedition. I won't sugarcoat it, but what you can start with today is to be less sheep. Ready for the transformation? All right. Now brace yourself. Once the podcast finishes, obviously. This is it. And admit that you're not just another woolly quadruped. For this exercise, you need to be the wolf. Snoop around your closest competitors, stalk their marketing, their ads, their promos, their offerings. Get all Sherlock Holmes on them. Now, you've probably done this before, but this time your analysis will be different. Once you've compiled screenshots, quotes, and all the other scraps of intel on your competition, organize them to see the big picture. Now, here's where my old school soul comes out. I love printing things and scribbling on them, but you do you. The goal is to pick out the patterns, the same words, timings, platforms, layouts, offerings, everything. Now that you've got their modus operandi pinned down, guess what? You've got a map of your competitors, their thought process, their actions, and their strategies. Now, Business 101 would tell you to use this information to build your own plan, but we're going to turn that on its head. What you have now is a launch pad to the uncharted territory of originality. Unleash your unique, remarkable self, not just another knockoff. Spot their weaknesses, flip their promos, use punchier words, explore the unconventional ways to promote. Do the opposite of what they're doing. Find a way to be different. Basically, take everything you've learned and give it a you twist. You could even, without naming names of course, point out the flaws in your competitors' strategies to your customers. Show them why the sheep approach is inferior. Remember, you're the wolf now. By standing out from the crowd, you're making marketing fun and easy. Your unique message, services, how you deliver them, and the products can slice through the white noise. To take it a step further, take cues from businesses in completely different fields that are doing something unique and effective and adapt their strategies to your industry. And you've got an instant advantage. Now, I can hear the "what if it doesn't work" whispers. You may like to go and listen or re-listen to Be Less Lizard to tackle those little voices. Now, it might not work, but how effective has the shout louder, price lower, look-alike strategy been for you so far? By being uniquely you and less sheepish, the reward could be 10 times or even 1,000 times greater. And remember, it's always better to be seen today and bought from tomorrow than never seen at all. So it really is time for you to be less sheep and be more you. Well, we're at the end of another fun-filled episode of the Annoyingly Optimistic Show. Here's hoping you've found your pot of gold at the end of this rainbow, brimming with insight, inspiration, and ideas to tackle your business dilemmas with a twinkle in your eye and a spring in your step. If you've enjoyed this episode, pass it on. Share the love, leave a review, or reach out and see how we can make your business everything you dreamed it would be. And for a weekly dose of optimism, hop on over to worrylessmakemore.co.uk and sign up for my Worry Less newsletter. Until our next adventure, remember to worry less, make more, and be brilliant.